Davinci Resolve has a trick up its sleeve. It's called the Render Cache. It's designed to make playback during editing smoother, but there are some tricks you should know to make it work smarter, not harder. Pun intended. So welcome back to Creator Reality, my friend. I'm John, and today we're going to dive into the Render Cache because I've gotten a lot of questions about it recently, most notably from my friend Frank, One Old Man Riding, here on YouTube. So let's dive in and take a look at this pretty cool feature. The Render Cache pre-renders video files to your disk, which allows GPU and CPU intensive clips to play back smoothly while you're editing. Behind the scenes, Render Cache is rendering each individual frame to the disk on your computer, which allows it to do the math once and not have to redo whatever the GPU and CPU had to do to render that frame in the first place, which makes playback smoother. This is a great feature, and for slower machines, it allows you to wait a little bit longer before buying a new computer, but there are some drawbacks and the default settings may not work for you, hence this video. So let's dive into Davinci Resolve and I'll show you where to find the Render Cache, how to manage it, and change its settings. Here we are in Davinci Resolve in a timeline, and we're going to find the Render Cache. It's under the Playback menu here, and if you go down 4 items, there's Render Cache. We have None, Smart, and User. So a little bit about these modes. None obviously won't use the Render Cache. Smart is whatever Resolve thinks it should cache. In the case of faster machines, you don't need this because it can actually slow down your playback and make your playback less smooth while it does the Render Cache for machines that can, in real time, render out frames. For slower machines, you're definitely going to want to use Smart or set up User, and I'll show you the settings later on how to do that, but you're probably going to want to stick to Smart and have it render as much as possible so that, hey, you're taking a coffee break and then you come back and you can just edit along willy-nilly and not have any stutters or jitters or slowdowns. But User gives you way more control, as I will show you later. I have mine set to User, but by default, it's probably set to Smart. Beneath that, we have Delete the Render Cache, and you can select all unused and selected clips. So if you've selected clips on your timeline, you can get the Render Cache gone from just those, or all of the ones for this project. Manage Render Cache. This is a big one. You click on it, it takes a few seconds to load, and then it'll pop up a screen on your computer. And here's that screen. I have blurred the names to protect the innocent, but over here under Render Cache, you can click on it, and it'll sort ascending by size. Click it again, it'll sort descending by size. And you can see that I've got one project with 25.5 gigabytes, a couple of 1 gigabytes, a 1/4 gigabyte. Well, my buddy Frank sent me this screenshot, 2 terabytes. That's basically an entire SSD that most of us have. We either have 1 or 2 terabyte SSDs hanging around. That's a whole one just for the Render Cache. That's a little ridiculous. By the way, I do recommend coming in here and clearing it out, as I'm about to show you, every week. It just cleans things up, and if you have a project that you're still working on, you can leave it there. But with our screen, we can actually check the ones we want to clear out. So I can get rid of all of these. If I wasn't done, I would skip over one so that it wouldn't delete the Render Cache for it. It's really no big deal. Resolve will rebuild it if you delete these files. Fun fact, if you're new to Resolve, it wasn't that long ago that we had to go hunting around our computer to find those pesky Render Cache files and manually delete them. It wasn't a lot of hunting, really, because we set up where they went, as I will show you later, but you get the gist. I think it was version 20 or 19 that introduced the Render Cache Manager, which huge props to BMD for putting that one in. So anyway, I'm going to select all these and then click Clear Selected Cache. And it will go through and delete all the files. I think the most is 50,000 that I've seen on my computer, maybe 75,000. Leave me a comment below if you have cleared out your Render Cache and what the maximum number of files you've seen deleted was. We had about 20,000 files, and now you can see that it's all cleared out. So I can click Close, and there we go. Now you say you want to be able to change the settings for Render Cache. Let me show you how to do that. Over here in our File menu, you can come down and click on Project Settings, or you have this gear icon down here, which when you click it will bring up the Project Settings window. And in here we've got a lot of options, but we're going to stay in Master Settings, and we're going to scroll down to Optimize Media and Render Cache. Here's where you can set up what the media format is and resolution and all that. I don't mess with any of that. That's all default settings. And anything that's in the render cache is going to be redone when you do your final render anyway. So I just recommend leaving it on default. If you have a custom setting that you like, drop me a comment. Let me know. But the next thing we want to do is make sure Enable Background Caching after blank seconds is checked. And I have mine set to 1. So what happens is after 1 second on my computer of idle time, Davinci Resolve will go through and see if there's anything left for it to cache. And if there is, it'll go ahead and do that. So when I walk away to get a cup of coffee, boom, render cache magically created while I'm gone. After you've made sure that enabling the background caching is checked, we have 3 options here. Automatically cache transitions in user mode, automatically cache composites in user mode, and automatically cache fusion effects in user mode. I have the first and third checked. And I did some digging. I couldn't really find what the composites meant specifically. So you can check it and play around with it if you want. But I'll show you how to manually cache clips that are troublesome in just a minute. And it'll all make sense, hopefully, at that point. And you won't need to check the middle one. But you do want transitions and fusion effects. A lot of transitions that are built into Resolve are fusion heavy, and they're only typically 20 to 30 to 60 frames. It's not a lot, so it doesn't take long to cache them. But doing the math, even my computer, which is pretty fast, it still struggles with them the first time, and then after that, it's smooth. And fusion effects, I'll show you that one too. But here's the big one. Working folders, cache files location. Mine is set to Davinci Resolve Cache Clip. You can browse your computer, find a folder anywhere you want on an SSD preferably, because they're faster than hard disk drives, and store it there. More on that in a minute though. So once we make sure those are all checked, you can click Save. I didn't make any changes, so I will click Cancel. And now that I've closed that, we're in my timeline where I have some examples set up for you. We're going to start with a fusion clip first. It's probably the one you're most likely needing to cache. And in my case, I'm going to go to Effects, my Creator Reality folder, and I'm going to drag on the Logo Explode Longer. I have a whole tutorial on how to make this a drag and drop effect right up there. Go check it out when you're done here. But I've dropped it onto my clip, and we see it in Effects here, and it's not going to play back smoothly. It's 2.93 frames. Well, guess what? I don't see a render cache, do you? I should see a red line here. Sometimes Resolve just does that. To fix that, we can go to Playback, Render Cache, turn it to None, or click None, and then go back into that menu and click User again. Or you can restart Resolve. That fixes it as well. But this is just a quick shortcut. I've got it working. It's obviously rendering right now, and it'll be done in just a couple of seconds. Now that it's done, we can play back this effect smoothly. See that? It went to 29.97 frames per second, and boom, done. Nice. But if you have a fusion effect that is rendering and you don't want it to, we can right-click, and then we can unselect Render Cache Fusion Effect Filter. You can uncheck Auto, and then it'll delete the render cache for this clip, and away we go. And now it's not going to play back. Yeah, it still has the render cache in memory, but if you notice I'm playing here and it's stuttering, yeah, there we go. So you can turn it off there, and I didn't mean to do that. I want to keep that rendering. And now that I've rechecked it, it's actually going out to my disk and finding the files, and it'll play back smoothly, even though I unchecked it, so it kept the files. Now, moving on to our next example, I used Dehancer, which is a really heavy color grade / open effects or OFX effect that's in an adjustment clip on top of some Canon footage I recorded. And if I play it back, you can see we're at 24 frames per second playback out of 30. So it's good, but it's not great. We can make it better. We're just going to right click on our adjustment clip, Render Cache OFX Filter, and we will check Dehancer Pro. And then sometimes the red line doesn't show up, sometimes it does. It's going through, it's working great tonight. Thank you, Resolve. And now that I play it back, it quickly ramped up to 29.97, and it stayed there for the whole clip. Pretty cool, right? Well, what if you've done a really fast time lapse and you want to zip through some footage at like 1,000% or 2,000%. Well, your playback may be stuttery as Resolve goes out to your drive and tries to pull frames from all over the place. So I've got a clip here. I'm going to Alt mouse wheel to zoom out. You can see it's a long clip. If I click on it, press Control D, clip duration is 11 minutes, 13 seconds. Well, I'm going to press Control R and I'm going to drag this down until it's at like 2,000%. I didn't quite get there, so I'm just going to go over to speed change and double click 2000. And now that we've changed the speed, we'll Control D to show the clip duration again, 33 seconds and 20 frames. So I'll cancel out of that and we'll play this back. And you can see that it's only going to 27 frames. Well, this is also, I think, pretty hard on the hard drive or the SSD. So let's fix that by right-clicking on the clip and choosing Render Cache Color Output. And now it'll build a red line and turn it blue as it renders this out. Should only take a few seconds. It's not actually doing a color grade or anything. It's just picking out the frames it needs and saving those on a different drive. Now that that's done, we'll go back to the start. We can play it back. It ramped up to 29.97, and it's going to play back nice and smoothly from the render cache. So, which mode is right for you? I mentioned a few vague things earlier about a fast machine versus a slow machine, and in my case, I'm running a laptop with a 5090 NVIDIA graphics card, the Intel 285HX CPU, and 64 gigs of RAM. If that's what you've got, it should work pretty well in user mode. If you've got a 3000 or 2000 series graphics card, you probably want to leave it on smart. But either way, you can change it back and forth willy-nilly and see which works best for your computer, because I swear they all have different bottlenecks and I'm not the expert in that. Now, another thing, and I mentioned it earlier, to take into account is your discs. I always recommend, and I personally run SanDisk Extreme Pro SSDs. I will leave a link below to those and you can check them out. I run the 2 terabyte versions, but the 1 terabyte should work for projects. I keep all my raw footage on one SSD and all of my render cache files on the second SSD. That's just how I set my system up. Obviously, SSDs can access multiple files at once and they have lots of throughput, but they have one drawback, and that's you need to keep like 25% free space on them. And that gets kind of hard if you're not checking on your render cache all the time. So the disk that I do most of my editing from is not the same as the disk that I use for my render cache. That way I can fill one with footage and one with render cache files, and never the two shall meet. But that's going to do it for me today. Hopefully you now have a much better understanding about the render cache. Thanks again to Frank, One Old Man Riding, for asking this question and sending over the screenshot. I do appreciate it. If you have a question about Davinci Resolve, drop me a comment below. I'm happy to help. Anyway, until next time, I hope you're having a great day. Go check out this video next. I'll see you there. It's one of mine. Did I point in the right direction? It's over there. Anyway, gotta go. Bye.